but it takes just 5 seconds. Just 5 seconds of decision.
Hey, what's up? So the idea is, on the heels of every Kindred conversation that I have, I want to upload or post a video like this, kind of reflecting on that week's topic, which this week was radical self-care. And the radical part's important because I do think it connotes an extremity in like the decision that was made, right? That like this is more full on than just like I need a spa day, but that you do something so such a pivot away from like the status quo that like, well, it's radical or extreme. I think it's pretty funny and amazing that I live by the ocean these days. I think that nothing to do with me. Okay. So I just got off a call with my therapist, and she rightly pointed out that I was in a good place, that for all of the things that feel incredibly uncertain right now, things feel really good. And I was asking myself, what did I attribute this to, or what did I think it was? And I think part of the reason why this past week's Kindred Conversations had to do with what does radical self-care look like, or what just talking about radical self-care. I think it had a lot to do with how I'm feeling now, and what I think the steps that I took in terms of radical self-care getting me here. So it's funny to look out on the ocean and think about what a shitty swimmer I am. And one of the biggest metaphors of my life is remembering the first time I was learning how to swim as a kid in El Paso, and clinging to the edge of the pool. I totally wanted to be there, totally wanted to take the classes, totally wanted to learn how to swim. But there, clinging at the edge of the pool, looking at the instructor who couldn't have been more than 4 feet out or whatever, it felt like the most terrifying 4 feet ever, and completely insurmountable. And eventually, obviously, I did finally take the plunge and, float out to the instructor. But it felt like an eternity between the terror and the fear and making the decision to just do it. And so I think about like that struggle often when I struggle with decisions, or struggle with decisions about taking care of myself. And this was no different. I had spent the year previous to all of this deciding to quit, trying to start some consultancy or whatever it is coming up next, on the heels of talking to my therapist for 8 months out, that how is it that I'm doing therapy, yoga, movement, all of these things to try to like get some homeostasis in my life. And then I would go spend 40 hours a week in a place that absolutely was trying to cut me off at the knees at every opportunity. It just felt like a fool's errand. And then COVID hit, and it just felt like there's no way that you could keep up the charade or keep up the facade or tear back the mask or whatever metaphor you want to use about like continuing to keep pushing yourself in these situations where you can't be yourself. You feel like what you're bringing to the table isn't appreciated, valued, or seen, and then say that like, oh, I'm working on taking care of me. And I think that that's the thing that's kind of blowing my mind, is I technically should be terrified right now. I should be like, the whites of the eye should be showing about like what's next on the horizon. And so to sit here and feel relatively content and calm, and looking forward to the challenge and looking forward to seeing if I'm up to it, is really cool. So wraps up the first of many vlogs on the heels of Kindred Conversations.